Hello dear students, welcome to today's session. This session is for class 11th, subject English, and we are going to discuss a very important skill of English language. So let's get started. So dear students, there is a program IELTS, Interactive English Language Training for Students, being run in our schools. And in this program, we work on the enhancement of the 4 skills of the language. Let us first discuss what are those 4 skills. Language is a means of communication. Language is taught and assessed in terms of the 4 skills that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. So these are the 4 skills of any language, and in that very order: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Why in that particular order? Because without listening there cannot be any speaking, and without reading we cannot write anything, because for writing we need vocabulary, and vocabulary we get from reading. So these are the 4 skills, and for the enhancement of these 4 skills, this program is being run in the school. And in a series of the lectures, this is the lecture based on the listening skill, that is the first skill. Now out of these 4 skills, 2 are the receptive skills and 2 are the productive skills. Now what is a receptive skill? In the receptive skill, we receive an input, and in the productive skills, we give the output. For example, look at this diagram. Input skill is listening. You listen to the language, you listen to the pronunciation of a word, and then with practice you are able to speak that word. So input is listening and output is speaking. Similarly, when you read a text in the language, the target language, you are able to write something because you have the words to write, you have the grammar and your sentence structure. You get this information, this knowledge when you read. And reading also affects the listening and speaking skills that we are also going to discuss today. So hope you are all ready with your copies and pens to note down all the important points. And before that, we must discuss the objective of studying this skill. Why listening is so important? First is from the examination point of view. The second one I will discuss from the point of view of your daily life. From the examination point of view, there is going to be a practical. You have your theory of 80 marks and internal assessment of 20 marks. In these 20 marks, listening and speaking skill based practical exam will be there, carrying 15 marks. And this 15 marks is again split into 2, listening and speaking. Listening skill test carries 9 marks. For the listening test, students will be given a practice sheet containing 10 questions. They will answer all the 10 questions based on an audio clip, and the students will be assessed for any 9 correct answers. So you will get a question paper, but during your practice test, we will display the questions on the screen itself. But in the exam, you will get a question paper. So from an examination point of view, this is the importance of listening skill, that if you listen to all the instructions given during the EDUSAT lectures, carefully note down the important points and then do the practice in your classes also, then you will be able to score well in the final exam. And this is the speaking test. It will carry 6 marks. The details will be discussed in the lecture related to speaking skill. 3 marks are for pre-board and book bank carries 2 marks. Now let us focus on the target skill for today, that is the listening skill. Now listening skill is a receptive skill. We have already discussed. When a child is born, the child listens to the sounds not the words. Actually, they do not understand what is being said. For them, these are not words. For a child, these are only sounds. And what does the child do? The child imitates the sounds, and listening leads to speaking. So, as the child grows, the more words the child is exposed to during listening, the more the child is able to speak that particular language. Your mother tongue is Punjabi. You are able to speak well in Punjabi. Why? Because all the time you listen to Punjabi. But when it comes to speaking in English, there are hurdles. Why? Because our exposure to listening in English is very, very less. That is why we have designed this program where we give you an exposure to the listening skill. And when you listen to any audio, when you listen to even a song, when you listen to any sentence, any story, then you not only listen to the words, but the sound, the rhythm, the intonation, the stress of the language. And you can learn this only through listening practice. All these subtopics will be discussed in detail in your lessons related to pronunciation. The more a student listens to the target language, the more is he able to understand the nuances of the language. So, more the exposure, more you will be able to speak in that language. So, listening to English enables the learners to speak in English, and all of us wants to speak in good English, isn't that? So, this is the importance of listening skill related to your day-to-day life and your skill enhancement. Now, let us compare hearing and listening. We use ears for hearing and we use ears for listening, but these are two totally different terms. Why? How? Hearing is a mechanical process. Although ears are involved, all the time your ear keeps catching some sounds from the surroundings. You are not making a particular effort. All the time, some sounds are coming. Even now, in addition to my voice, there might be more sounds around you and your ears are catching those sounds. This is hearing. But if you are listening to me with complete attention, with complete focus, that is listening. So I hope when you sit in your classes, in all your classes, you are not only hearing, you are actually listening, because listening needs focus. It is an effort to understand the meaning of what we hear. Hearing is involuntary. You do not have to make any effort. It just happens. But listening is voluntary. You have to make an effort. You have to do it consciously. And in hearing, you might be mentally somewhere else, present in the class, appears to be listening, but actually your mind is somewhere else. But listening requires complete attention. So this is another importance of listening. If you become attentive during any of your classes, in all your classes, your output will be more in all your exams, and particularly for the listening test. So I hope at present you are all completely focused and listening to me with complete attention, and I promise you we will score very good marks today. Now, what is a listening test and what things you must keep in mind while doing that test? In a listening test, you will be given a question paper. I repeat, this question paper will be given only in the exams, not your regular classes. In your regular classes, you use your own copies for writing answers. You will listen to an audio and you will have to answer the questions as you listen. Now, this has been highlighted. As you listen means when you are listening to the audio side by side, you have to write the answers also. Here I would like to point out something. This question I was asked from someone and I would like to give the answer here for the benefit of everyone. The question was that in the listening test, the question paper should not be given when the audio is played, it should be given after the audio? My answer is, beta, there are two types of tests. One is post-listening test and the second is while listening test. So we have designed it on the pattern of IELTS, which is a while listening test. So what the test which is a part of our syllabus is the while listening test, means when you listen to the audio, side by side you answer the questions. That is why we provide you with the question paper alongside. But in the post listening exercises, you play an audio, listen to it, and then after that a question paper is given, and that includes comprehension also, whereas in our syllabus while listening is a part. I hope it is clear, and in case someone asks you this question, this is the answer, that in our syllabus while listening exercises have been inculcated. So the audio will be played once only. So please keep this in mind. Audio will not be repeated. So you have to be very, very focused, very, very attentive. Now here are some tips. After that, I'll give you an experience of the listening test. So read all the points very carefully and listen to me. Now also there are two skills you are enhancing. You are reading from the slides and you are listening to my voice also. The first one is listen for names, places, dates, mobile numbers, address, etc., and make notes on the question paper. So this is any kind of important information if it is given during the audio. So it's a tip that you note it down because there might be a question on that. While listening, write answers on the question paper. That is multitask. Multitasking means when you are doing more than one task at the same time. And in this test, you have to do 3 tasks side by side. You listen to an audio, you read the questions, and you write the answers. So, listening, reading, and writing. This will go side by side. So, that is why I am repeating it. Please be focused and be very, very attentive. Pay attention to the instructions and underline the keywords. For example, if instruction is given no more than 3 words and or a number, that means you have to limit your answers to that limit only, because all words are counted. So read the instructions very carefully. And also listen to the instruction. In point number 3, the instructions are given in the question paper or on the screen. And in point 4, these are the instructions given in the audio. So listen to the instructions before listening test starts. In that half minute, go through the questions quickly and underline the cue words so that you know what to listen for. Now this is very important. In the audio, the speaker will say, before you listen to the audio, read questions this to that. So if you quickly go through those questions, you will be prepared to focus on that particular information. Read the instructions carefully. If it is written, choose the correct letter A, B, C, then you are to write the letter and not the actual words. If you miss an answer, don't lose the pace of the speaker by thinking about it, or you will miss the next answers. Come back to it later on. So it happens, Rita, sometimes you miss an answer and you start thinking, you're reflecting what was the answer, and sometimes the kid starts talking to the one sitting next to them. So what will happen? Both of you will lose the pace of the audio. Audio will keep moving, audio will not stop, and you will lose next 2 or 3 answers. So leave that blank or leave that answer and come back to it at the end. You can guess the answer. Don't leave blank spaces. Guess and write. There is no negative marking. Do not focus on words you do not understand, but focus on words you understand and guess from the context. So sometimes you are not able to understand a word. It's okay. There are many words which you do understand, and from that you can guess the answer. Do the guesswork. Don't leave any blank don't leave any true false, don't leave any answers. Do according to the context. And don't try to translate everything, just listening. It's a listening test. So are you ready now to write down number 1 to 10 and listening test 1? I'm going to play an audio. I will show you a question paper on the screen. Read the questions, listen to the audio and write the answers in your copy. All the best. So here is your listening test. So write down listening test number 1.
Class 10 plus 1 lesson, The Earth is Not Ours. You will listen to an audio and answer the questions as you listen. Before you listen to the audio, please read the question paper from question 1 to 5. This is a conversation between two persons, interviewer and Alex. Now listen to the conversation.
Today, I'm interviewing 9-year-old Alex about her feelings on how people can help save the environment. So, Alex, how can we save the environment?
By saving water.
Well, how can we do that?
By not using too much water when we wash dishes, take a bath, and when we do other things, like watering the plants outside.
Oh, I think I can do that. What else?
When drinking or eating something outside, you should keep the garbage until you find a trash can to put it in, because littering makes our planet dirty. Do you like seeing trash all over the ground?
No, I don't. Do you have any final suggestions?
Yes, we shouldn't waste paper because trees are being cut down to make the paper. By recycling paper, we save the forests where animals live.
So, how can children recycle paper? I mean, every day.
Well, for example, when I was in kindergarten, I used to save the newspapers so that I could make things out of them, like paper trees, instead of just throwing them away. Now, the children in our neighborhood collect newspapers once a month to take them to a recycling center.
That's great. Well, thanks, Alex, for your ideas.
This is end of section 1. Now, before you listen to the second section, please check the question paper carefully and read questions 6 to 10. Now, listen to the audio.
What are these global issues? I have grouped them under 3 headings, each of which I relate to a fundamental human freedom. Freedom from want, freedom from fear, and freedom of future generations to sustain their lives on this planet. First, freedom from want. How can we call human beings free and equal in dignity when over 1 billion of them are struggling to survive on less than $1 a day, without safe drinking water, and when half of all humanity lacks adequate sanitation? Some of us are worrying about whether the stock market will crash or struggling to master out the latest computer, while more than half of our fellow men and women have much more basic worries, such as where their children's next meal is coming from. The second main heading is freedom from internal wars. Wars between states are mercifully less frequent than they used to be. But in the last decade, internal wars have claimed more than 5 million lives and driven many times that number of people from their homes. Moreover, we still live under the shadow of weapons of mass destruction. We must do more to prevent conflicts happening at all. Most conflicts happen in poor countries, especially those which are badly governed or where power and wealth are very unfairly distributed between ethnic or religious groups.
This is end of section 2. Please check your answers.
So students, if you have missed any answer, I will show you the complete question paper once again, starting from question 1. You can just check your answers. This is 3, 4 and 5. If you have missed any answer, you can guess and write. So here are the answers, students. Check your answers. I have written the letter as well as the answer. The first one is option A, Alex. 2, option B, taking a bath. 3, option B, disposing of trash properly. 4, section C, protect the forest. 5th, section A, newspapers. Section 2, question number 6, option A, human. Answer 7, fear. 8th, equal. 9th, 5 million. And 10th is true. I hope you were able to perform well in listening test number 1, and we'll have another test. This is based on poetry. This is a poem from your syllabus. I will read the poem, and in the poem there will be some gaps. You will listen very carefully and write down the answers in your copy. So quickly write 1 to 10. You will write only the words which are missing. So here is the audio. Listen carefully and write the answers in your copy. One infant grows up and becomes a jockey. Another plays basketball or hockey. This is one the prize ring hates to enter. That one becomes a tackle or center. I am just as glad can be, that I am not them, that they are not me. With all my heart do I admire athletes who sweat for fun or hire, who take the field in gaudy pomp and maim each other as they roam. My limp and bashful spirit feeds on other people's heroic deeds. Now A runs 90 yards to score, B knocks the champion to the floor. C, risking vertebrae and spine, lashes his steed across the line. You would think my ego it would please to swap positions with one of these. Well, ego might be pleased enough, but zealous athletes play so rough. They do not ever in their dealings consider one another's feelings. I am glad that when my struggle begins, twixt prudence and ego, prudence wins. When sullen eye meets gnarled fist, when snaps the knee and cracks the wrist, when calm officialdom demands, is there a doctor in the stands? My soul in true thanksgiving speaks for this most modest physiques. Athletes, I will drink to you, or eat with you, or anything except compete with you. Buy tickets worth their weight in radium to watch you gamble in a stadium and reassure myself anew that you are not me and I am not you. So students, this was the poem and I hope you were able to write down all the words to fill in the gaps. Let's check the answers. Admire. Number 1, admire. Second is champion. Third, lashes. 4. Athletes. 5. Feelings. 6. Fist. 7. Demands or demands as you say. Soul. 8. 9. Physiques. 10. Gamble. So dear students, you have experienced 2 listening tests today. You have listened to a conversation, you have listened to a monologue, you have listened to a poem. So I hope it helped you a lot. Now if you have not been able to do well, let us discuss what are the reasons why you were not able to do as expected. I will discuss all the reasons, but you have to find out what was your reason. Lack of exposure to listening in English. As I said in the beginning, if you do not listen to English, you will not be able to speak in English or do well in the English test, because your ears are not attuned to listening to English. Your ears are not used to listening to the pronunciation of particular words. So exposure to listening in English is very important. Lack of good vocabulary. Supposing you are not aware, for example, if in this list there is a word written at number 10, gamble. If you have never heard about this word, if you have never read this word, if you are not aware about it, then even if you listen to it very carefully, you will not be able to write it, because you are not aware of the word. So improving your vocabulary is a key word for improving your listening skill and even for improving your writing skill, your speaking skill. So beta, try to work on your vocabulary. Then lack of interest. Many of you sit in the class but you are not interested in what is happening. Interruptions or noise in the classroom or around the classroom. If even one student starts talking at the back, the whole class gets disturbed. So you have to ensure that when you attempt the test, there is complete silence around you. Lack of complete attention, wandering mind, sitting in the class physically but mind is somewhere else. You won't be able to do well. Some students get anxious, they get stressed up. Anxiety leads to poor performance also in any kind of examination. Lack of practice. So what you have to do to overcome all these points? And a negative attitude. I missed the last one, a negative attitude. So how to improve your listening skills? So one by one we'll discuss all the points. These are the problems, and now we will discuss the remedies also. During the listening test, whenever a listening test is being conducted in the class, either through EDUSAT or when your teachers are conducting it in your regular classrooms, you have to stop talking. First point, be silent. Take notes of whatever instructions are being given. Avoid or eliminate distraction. This distraction can be around you or mental distraction also. So these are the points that you have to keep in mind while the test is being conducted. And the rest of the points and answer to all the problems that we discussed earlier, these are the solutions. How to overcome the negative attitude and how to overcome the anxiety. Believe in yourself that I can do it. Say it again and again. Yes, I can do it. I can perform well in any of the tests. And train your ears by listening to news in English, listening to audios in English, listen to songs in English, listen to different conversations in English, and watch good English movies. Watching good English movies will improve your listening skill as well as your reading skill. Here I would advise you to watch those movies which are recommended by your teachers and which have subtitles also, because that way you will be able to read as well as listen and understand the pronunciation also. Practice, practice and practice. This is the mantra for every kind of examination. Listen to a word or a sentence and then repeat it. Try to record your voice also. and then listen to your own voice. That will be very interesting. Say it aloud and practice. Any new word when you come across, practice speaking it. That will improve your listening as well as your speaking. Read as much as you can to improve your vocabulary. Make it a point that every day you must learn 2 new words. Make your own dictionary. Write that word in your personal dictionary and use it. Unless and until you use that word, that is not going to be helpful, because that will be a part of your passive vocabulary. Active vocabulary is that which we use often. So what you will do, write at least 2 words daily in your diaries and use them in simple sentences, and then start speaking those words, using those words in your spoken English also. And when you are attempting the test, be attentive, relax, deep breathe and focus while listening to the audios. And last but not the least, I am going to summarize that practice listening at least 20 minutes every day. For the whole day you are speaking in the mother tongue. You can spare at least 20 to 25 minutes for the target language, the language that is going to be helpful in your career, in your life, and which all of you want to learn. So, dear students, I conclude with the final advice, a parting advice to you all, that in order to learn to speak good English, in order to write good English, you must listen to good English, you must read good English literature. That will improve your vocabulary, that will improve your pronunciation, and one day you will speak very fluently. So with that, I will take your leave. It's Varinder Sekho here, State Coordinator English, posted at Government Senior Secondary School, Machli Kala, Mohali. Have a good day and keep learning, keep progressing, keep improving. Thank you so much.